I just got home from reviewing the 2023 updated Lexus LS 500. Can't wait to share my new impressions on the revised flagship from Lexus. But check this out. I want to thank TJ for sending this information on over to us. And what we have here are images of the Lexus LFR. We haven't had a performance flagship since the LFA. And Lexus has been using the RCF for its racing division and modifying that car to the moon and back to make it competitive. They won't have to modify this thing because it's built from the ground up to be competitive in the GT3 racing class. So we're going to talk about this vehicle today. If you're excited for finally a flagship performance car from Lexus, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe because I mean, with this thing being on being tested out in the open here, hopefully we're not that much longer away from this being officially announced by Lexus. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause this, and we actually have the sound of this vehicle. So hopefully let's go and play it. There we go. Okay, well, twin turbo V8. That's what Lexus has been working on for years now. They just have never brought it to the market, and this is going to be their last hurrah before essentially V8s are going to be outlawed. And the twin turbo V8, no, it'll never sound as good as the V10 and the LFA, but it sounds pretty grunty. It almost sounds like a Ducati or something. It sounds like a cross-plane crank sort of engine going on here, maybe even from the Yamaha lineup with their twin engines and their triples. Like, to me, it doesn't really sound much like a car, and that's okay. It has a very unique, gutsy, guttural sound to it. Transmission-wise, Lexus doesn't have anything that can shift this quick. When we hear the shifts, the upshifts and downshifts, they're lightning. Maybe it's Lexus's first ever dual clutch transmission. That would be pretty cool. So we have a new engine and a new transmission here, and it's still a bit of a mystery on the details of that. But I made a spreadsheet ages ago, and I'm going to go head on over to that spreadsheet to compare against what Lexus could be working on here with the twin turbo V8 versus what we see in the competition, especially the Germans and their twin turbo V8s. And Audi has a twin turbo V8 too. I should probably put them. I'm going to do a Zach Morris timeout and upgrade this spreadsheet. Let's start with the Volkswagen Auto Group 4-liter twin turbo V8 that I drove recently in the S8, up to 612 horsepower in some applications like the RS6 Avant. 590 pound-feet of torque at max power. And if we go down the Mercedes-Benz, up to 641 horsepower, over 600 pound-feet of torque. We look at the BMW 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, over 600 horsepower, over 500 pound-feet of torque. And then what could we expect from a Lexus twin-turbo V8? For years, we've been hearing 600 horsepower that Lexus has been developing this twin turbo V8. So I think that would fall in line with what we have going here. I put 650 eons ago, but we're talking about Lexus. I think 600 is probably just where they're aiming for. And 600 pound-feet of torque would be amazing, but I won't be surprised if it falls short of that either. Could they do a single turbo? Toyota and Lexus have proven with the twin turbo V6, the V35A, that they have no interest in having a single turbo. They would just do a detuned twin turbo V8, and so that would probably be somewhere around 500 horsepower. I mean, if you look at the Mercedes-Benz, they detune that all the way down to 456 horsepower. So we could see different outputs of this twin turbo V8. Absolutely, maybe we can put detuned there for clarification. But we know Lexus is working on electrification. Could they hybridize this thing? Quick timeout, because we have to keep in mind that the power outputs on the GT3 racetrack are around 500 horsepower. So even if they can do over 600 horsepower in the twin turbo V8, and the racing spec will be at 500 horse. But that doesn't mean for the streets and for high-end consumers out there, they could scale this higher and also possibly plug-in hybrid this thing for more power. I mean, when you plug in hybrid, the sky's the limit with power. Almost 700 horsepower is possible in a setup like this. We never see it in a Tundra. I think this sort of setup would only be in the Lexus lineup. mainly on this LFR vehicle. Looking at some of the patented images, we know this vehicle is coming out. Obviously on the racetrack, it was more in that GT3 trim with a huge wing and whatnot, but it's going to come to market looking exactly like this. I don't expect it to change at all. Maybe a little bit with the diffusers and the front lip spoiler, chin spoiler. That might be scaled back a little bit for production. I mean, that is just waiting to get broken off, and I'm sure that would be carbon fiber as well. So that would that wouldn't be great for insurance. Here's the render of it that Toyota came up with. Like it's just a stunning vehicle, very Batmobile-like. And now Lexus would finally have a direct 911 fighter here as well. Is it as desirable as a 911? I mean, it looks radical, and maybe people want something a little bit different than the beautiful Porsche 911. It'd be interesting to see how Toyota is able to sell this vehicle. They're going back to the image here. It looks stunning from the back, and you get hints of the LFA on the back as well. I mean, looking at this light bar, it's very Lexus UX, and even the new RX has a similar light bar. It looks pretty cool. I can't wait to hopefully Lexus unveils it by the end of this year, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because this is Lexus we're talking about, and the LCF never came to market, even though they were testing the twin turbo V8 and the LC. It just the vehicle wasn't as high performing as they needed to be, so they started from the ground up with a new platform, and that's what the LFR will be. And it will outperform the old LFA, of course. It won't have a unique character with the V10, but I'm excited for it nonetheless, and I like how the exhaust comes out the side. That's pretty baller as well. But I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys for watching. If you made this far in the video, I would appreciate a like smash. And I need to start working on my review of the LS, start editing, so you guys have that to snack on as well. Thank you guys so much. Catch you in the next one, and peace.